turning the ball over, we will make some big plays and get some interceptions and stuff like that. But we're just letting too many points go through. Like all of the games we've had to win by scoring like over 30 points. Like there's not been any games where we could have just like taken our foot off the pedal. You know, we had to just constantly. The offense is basically carrying us a little bit. So that's a bit worrying, because there are some teams that have got also some amazing offenses that we haven't really played against yet, and they might score more than us because our defense is just going to let them through. Seems like anyway. So yeah, we've got some issues, but hey, we're undefeated. I'm not going to hold my nose at that. Like, this is the best start to a season we've had in a long time.
Well, since you last won the Super Bowl, right?
It's got to be, yeah, for sure.
Amazing.
So I'm feeling good.
Definitely
feeling very good. I mean, the power rankings, Seahawks are currently number 1, in the league. So great. Yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling very good, actually.
I mean, at the end of the day, scorelines speak for themselves. It's like you can rip them to pieces, like people have been ripping the Bears. It's like, but this, the record speaks for itself. So
yeah, win's a win.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah, no. So it's going to be good. We got Cardinals this weekend, so if we can get a good sort of divisional win, that would be great. If you can beat the Rams for us, that would be awesome as well. That would be really cool. Keep them off our tails for a little while, so we can.
Yeah, definitely.
So we've got a bit of breathing space. That would be awesome. And then everything's good.
I think we can do it. I think we beat the Rams last season, actually, which was a shocker. We shouldn't have beat them, but I think we did. So maybe if they can dig deep and think about last season, then we can do it. So, mate, I want us to talk about podcasts on our podcast.
Okay, wow. Podcastception, I like it.
Yeah, exactly. So, started listening to a couple of new ones.
Okay.
So I'm just want to review them, basically. The first one was always going to be a favourite of mine, and it's the Alan Partridge podcast, live from the Oast House. It's an absolute winner. It's so funny. Yeah. It's essentially an audiobook, though. It's not like, because it's on Audible, and it's like, it was all released at the same time. It's had a lot of production value is so high. It's not like this podcast where we just ramble. It's like
right. Okay.
It's all scripted, and there's like loads of good production stuff. So yeah, that's just a complete win from me. If you've not listened to it, like, give it a go. It's so good. And then the other one I started listening to was one called the Vigilante Book Club. Have you heard of this one?
I haven't. No, sounds good.
So this was one that Instagram got me with. The Instagram ads. And I was like, actually, that looks pretty good. I usually just completely ignore this, but there was there's an image of a guy with a revolver, and he's like shooting, and it's just like the design on it is very like 50s and 60s, like an old fashioned book cover, basically.
Okay.
Really stylistic, and I think the tagline was something like sensitive guys talking about insensitive books, or something.
Right.
I thought, okay, this is interesting. So I started listening to it. It turns out there's this book called The Vigilante, right, which is an old 70s. It's basically like spy action pulp, basically. And these dudes who I thought initially were a bit like us, to be honest. They're American guys, but they were just like, they weren't particularly like cool dudes or anything. They were just like chatting about this book, but it was like quite a gruesome book. There's like shootings and muggings and rapings and all this stuff going on.
All the good stuff.
Yeah, in a book, in fiction, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, in fiction, yeah, of course.
But so I thought, oh yeah, this is cool. This book's like right up my street, and they basically read a bit and they talk about it, and there was this like great like Dirty Harry 70s like funk music like in the background and stuff, and I was really digging it for a bit, and then they just got really, really wimpy, basically, and I was like, they basically started getting really offended by the characters in the book that they were discussing,
right?
And I know it said on the front cover, like, sensitive guys, but I was like, okay, these guys are complete like woke wimps, basically.
Beta males.
Yeah, well, exactly. Talking about this stuff. And the more I listened, the more I was just like, I found myself like physically recoiling, like with my headphones on, just being like, what? What the? Oh my God, what? So in the end, I just had to stop listening to it, even though the book that they were reviewing sounded quite good, and like the whole concept was good, and the music was good, and the production was relatively good on this podcast. But I was just like, these guys are complete wimps. Like, you know, I don't want to say pussies, but
yeah,
I mean, I was just.
I didn't say it. If you want to say it, so when they're getting offended, are they? And they're saying, "Oh, this is bad. This is."
Yeah. So the character is a classic 70s New York cop, basically. So you know, he definitely is. He's a little bit sexist, a little bit homophobic, but it's like it's in that sort of 70s throwaway, ingrained into society nature. Do you know what I mean? Like he'll walk into an office and he'll just make an order for a coffee to the female receptionist and just walk straight by her. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing. Yeah. So yeah, we wouldn't do that now, and not a great way to behave. But they were like, they'd read that bit of the book and they'd go, I mean, I find that disgusting. I think, I mean, the author clearly has no, you know, morals, blah, 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 you know, all this stuff, getting far too deep into it. And I was like, well, this is a gritty 70s cop. Like, that's the character. He's going to be a bit, you know, he's going to be a bit mean and a bit nasty or whatever. But these guys were just like not finding any sort of literary purpose in it, or they weren't finding the fun side, the throwaway side to it. So I was just a bit like, oh, they've sapped all the fun out of this book. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so even though I agreed with their sentiment, it was like, yeah, guys, I agree, but like, get on with it. The shooting's about to start. You know, like,
yeah. I'm just like, this is a fiction book.
Yep.
Written
in the 70s.
Was it written back in the day? Written in the 70s about a guy in the 70s doing things that wouldn't be okay nowadays. Yeah. And they're getting offended as if. I don't know, as if it's like encouraging it now.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's fair. Like, I wouldn't be able to handle that. That seems super pointless.
Yeah. So, exactly. Pointless is the
extremely pointless. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, not top marks for that one, but I thought that they were almost there. But, you know, the design was good, the concept was good.
They got you from an advert. Those little annoying adverts that you normally turn you away from products. They managed to get you in the door.
It was so good.
And then they failed at the last hurdle.
Yep.
Damn.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
That's all right, though. Just not for me.
Yeah. Not for me.
No, not for me.
Is there any more podcasts you've been listening
to? I started... what did I start? Oh, there was an NFL one, which I just started today, which seems pretty good. It's called The Nat Coombs Show on ESPN.
Okay.
So, I don't know who this guy is, but he seems pretty good, and he's got guests on, and they're basically just going through, you know, this week in the NFL, basically. So, that's well worth a listen. Again, I'm only about 45 minutes in or whatever, but that seems to be good. I think that's going to be my new NFL podcast.
Sweet. Yeah, I used to listen to a lot of the Dave Damashek show.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like he's a Pittsburgh guy, massive Pittsburgh Steelers fan, gets loads of like ex-NFL pundits basically, and they do exactly the same thing. Sort of, what they'll do is they do so many shows. So one will be like this week in NFL, but then it'll be like important news, and then they'll do like top 10 rankings of all of the best wide receivers since in like the Super Bowl generation or whatever, and they'll have like full on like arguments about who's the best, and it's great. It's all fun, tongue in cheek, but
nice.
And he's just this like really like Pittsburgh like whiny sort of like I don't know, but he's good. He's a good guy. It's good. And then Inside the Huddle, the Sky Sports one is good as well.
Yes,
the English guy.
I think I tried to listen to that one last year and didn't get on so well. I can't remember why, but I don't know. Sometimes it's just about who you connect with, isn't it? Like if you think the person hosting the podcast, like if you like them, it makes it into a good podcast. Whereas if you just like, for some reason, like hosts just turn you off a little bit sometimes. I think that might have been what happened with that one. But maybe I should give it another go.
Can we get a little bit political? Still NFL, but a little bit political.
Of course. Let's do it, baby.
Okay. I don't know. This might not be a very quick one, but have you heard about this flyover controversy?
No, I haven't.
Oh.
Okay, so fill me in. I'm ready to be offended to the max.
So there's the two big NFL commentators, Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. I think they're doing the Chiefs game. I forget who they're playing, but so they're doing the Chiefs game. There's about, I don't know, 25% of seats filled with fans, and they're all spread out.
Does it matter which channel they work for?
I actually don't know. Maybe it must. They're one of the biggest, the sort of the two most famous, or some of the two most famous commentators. I think it's ESPN, but it could be someone else.
Cool.
But either way, there's a military flyover, and so like classic, like planes flying over just before the game starts. Like it happens all the time, and basically they go, "Well, that's a lot of jet fuel wasted for that," and then the other guys. Troy's like, that's your hard-earned taxpayer dollars being spent. And they're like, yeah, this wouldn't happen under Biden and Camilla.
What?
Yeah, and it's like, that wouldn't happen under the Biden-Camilla ticket. That's what they said. So they're basically like, they're commenting on this game, but before the game started, they're like effectively like endorsing a political candidate.
What? Oh my word! Mate, I'm gobsmacked.
It's crazy, isn't it? How crazy is that?
I thought, and they were obviously they were on air. They didn't think they were off air or something. No,
well, people have been saying it's a hot mic, so I think maybe they did think it was off air. But by the way they were talking, and how like they were waiting for each other to finish, and it sounded to me as if they were just saying it, before the game, because the game was about to kick off. Like,
wow,
they would have been on air, you know. So it's so people are obviously upset, you know, because as the last few seasons have gone on, it's getting more and more political with the NFL, obviously with players kneeling and stuff.
Yeah.
But like something that's so American and so ingrained, like those flyovers happen all the time. It's not like it's a one-off thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know. It's just an interesting.
I guess the point. Yeah, the point here isn't to do with whether they should fly planes over football games or not. The point is whether the commentators should express their political opinions.
Yeah.
And the answer is clearly no. No, they shouldn't. Even if they think it's the worst waste of money since God knows what. Like, be a commentator. Shut up and commentate on the game.
Yeah,
or don't shut
100%.
up. Shut up your... not speaking in general, just your political thing. God, that's so funny, isn't it? Wow.
Yeah, crazy. Just, so blatant and just super...
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a pretty big shock for me because I thought, because I'd heard about the issue and I didn't realise they had actually mentioned like Biden's name. I just thought that they were just railing against Trump for wasting tax money during the pandemic or whatever. You know, which there's probably arguments for that. You know, should the like 5 jets be flying over a stadium when there's people losing their jobs and stuff? I don't know. That's a discussion to have. It's meant to sort of honour the military, I guess. So. There's arguments both sides, but the actual mentioning of Biden and the fact that it wouldn't happen under his watch is pretty crazy to me.
I mean, either way, they're influencing people, aren't they? Because there's a lot of people that go, yeah, definitely, we shouldn't be wasting that money, like, vote Biden. And then there are a whole load of other people that are watching along, going like, so what, you're not going to respect our military, we're just going to stop this military respect symbol. And that they're going to be even more against Biden, and they're going to vote for Trump. So I don't really see what it gains. Like, it's just, I mean, my personal opinion is that they, shouldn't make comments like that, and we should all just get on with football. Music and football should just be music and football. It shouldn't be anything to do with politics.
Yeah,
And
also another thing is that, like, sort of the idea of sort of staying in your lane, and these guys are great at commenting on NFL, but I don't know how good they are at judging political candidates and their sort of like political stance and stuff. So I trust them. Whatever they say about NFL, I'm going to kind of assume they know a little bit more than I do, right?
Yeah.
I trust their opinion on that. As soon as they start talking about politics or music or any other subject, they haven't earned my trust in that department. You know,
Yeah.
they don't have any currency with me. Like I don't just. But the problem is because people like them so much or know them so well,